The next lot of tests will look at the hamstring complex, both full strength of the hamstring group as well as internal rotators and external rotators. While you have your patient on their tummy, you can also have a look at what's going on with their gluteus maximus. So we're going to start with the full hamstring loading first. During this test, you can always also look at the Eli test, so what's happening through the hip flexors, more importantly the rectus femoris. So this can be an indication of tightness in this area when loading the hamstring group. So getting your client to lay on their tummy, resting the upper body however is comfortable. Bending the knee at 90 degrees to start with, nice easy through the ankle. From here you're going to instruct your client to keep that hip pressed up against the bed as much as possible, so really driving that hip in, because we want to have as less activation through the glute as possible. From here, grabbing behind the back of the heel, getting them to push their hip into the bed, and on the count of 3 they're going to try and bring their heel towards their glutes, and you're going to stop. 1, 2, 3, big pull in, good, and rest. Getting them to relax in between, otherwise they may cramp. So all of these tests you will be marking out of a range of 5. Next test is internal rotators, bending the knee back up at 90 degrees. Again, getting them to keep their hip on the bed at all times, putting your hand on the inside of their ankle. You're going to instruct them to, on the count of 3, pushing the inside of their foot into your hand, and you're stopping it. 1, 2, 3, big push across, good, and rest. Lovely, resting in between. Next one is external rotators, bringing the knee back up at 90 degrees. Again, hip into bed, putting their hand on the outside of their foot this time. And again, on the count of 3, they're going to be pushing their foot out into your hand. 1, 2, 3, big push out. Good, and rest. Lovely. So there we have the full hamstring group. You have your internal rotators inside of your thigh and your external rotators. Again, scoring each of those out of 5. If Courtney has tight hip flexors or rectus femoris, during the loading of the hamstring group, so during the full test where Courtney brings her heel into her bottom, big pull in for me, Court, her hip here will start to really lift, and they'll get a rotation type action. So because Courtney's isn't so tight at the moment, she can keep nice and flat, which indicates that she's not too tight through that area. So again, if it is tight through their hip flexors and rectus femoris, as they start to load their hamstring, this hip will start to lift. And rest now for me. The last testing while Courtney's on her stomach is for gluteus maximus. So again, bending the knee at 90 degrees, holding the front of the shin, and a little bit of pressure just on top of their SIJ point. So you're going to help them push their hip down into the bed for this one. Keeping their leg at 90 degrees, again, you're scoring this one out of 5. And as well, because your hand is on their lower back, you'll be able to tell whether their lower back is active during this motion. So this motion is taking the foot to the ceiling, so they're going to take their thigh off the bed. So you're going to instruct Courtney to keep her hip on the bed at all times, but lifting her foot to the ceiling, taking the thigh off the bed on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3, big lift up, beautiful, and relax. So this one's all about whether they can get lift in the leg, whether their lower back wants to lift up and be overactive, or if they can't get lift, it's a real indication that they're really tight through their hip flexors and even their psoas muscles. And you can also see whether gluteus maximus is contracting by just observation.